We're back, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the 7 Figures or Bust podcast, the #1 podcast in the world for growing your insurance business.
That's right.
This is episode 118. And man, do we have an episode for you today. Normally when we have a guest, I oftentimes will say it's a mystery guest. But this was a guest that we put the name into the title, so it's not really very easy to keep the secret. We have Cody Askins on the show today. We're going to bring him up in just a second here. We're going to be talking about preventing failure as an agent. We're going to be talking about productivity.
Yes.
Even though we have an event coming up, he has an event coming up, so I'm sure we're going to be talking about that a little bit, and everything else in between. Before we bring up Cody, how is your morning, good sir? How is the day?
It's going great so far. Yesterday was chaos. It was like a Monday's Monday. I think we both kind of had a similar day. It was just like nonstop. So I feel good today. I got up extra early, hit the gym, feeling like I'm ahead of the curve. Yeah, feeling like I'm ahead of the curve today. And yesterday I felt like I was playing catch up all day. So
I wanted to mention something gym related. So I started taking my workouts very seriously almost 3 months ago now. 2.5, something, whatever. Who's counting?
Got like a headband on.
2 months, 2 weeks and 4 days. No, I'm just kidding. But
13 hours, 12 minutes.
No,
Who's counting?
But I started noticing the last couple of weeks that when I was in the gym working out, that I started, what my biggest change I started doing is I was running 3-4 times a week and doing weights once a week or twice a week. I flipped it to where now I'm doing weights four times a week or so, and now I'm running once a week. And the last couple of weeks I started noticing that I was not feeling any soreness post-workout the next day or anything like that, which told me I was like, wow, I'm ready for more weight.
Ready for more.
I'm ready for more weight. Like, you saw me in Miami. I couldn't do a pull-up because I had gotten so pudgy. Now I can do sets of pull-ups again.
Whoa!
I'm down like 16, 17 pounds. I'm down like 16, 17 pounds. So I'm feeling good about the progress.
I love it, dude. I'm a huge believer in weightlifting early on. I was thinking about this today. Like, a lot of it was ego, right? You're young, you're in high school, whatever it is, you pick up weights, you're trying to like get buff, look good. Now I feel like I just feel so good after lifting.
Yeah, me too.
My body feels better. I feel stronger. I don't want to take up too much time, but I was going to mention this at some point on the pod is January 1st, 2022. I had one of my kids on my back and I had twisted my knee and hyperextended my knee. And I remember thinking like, this was such a classic injury of I'm so out of shape and I'm so weak that just doing this little motion, my kid's like 40 pounds. I do this little turn and I could just feel it in the back of my knee. And I'm just like, wow, this is sad. This is so just to be able to like do stuff like that, like have one of my kids on my back and not have to worry about like blowing out my knee, as embarrassing as something like that. But, everyday life being strong is awesome.
Yeah.
Huge benefit.
I probably feel the healthiest I've felt in my entire adult life right now, which is great. So good progress.
I love it.
Yeah. Anyway, I wanted to shift gears into bringing Cody on up on the stage just to make sure that we get as much time talking with him as possible. So for those of you that don't know, I'll give him a proper introduction. Cody Askins is the founder of 8% Nation, runs multiple different insurance-based businesses, made 6 figures, and he can correct me if I'm wrong on the numbers on this, in his first 8 or 9 months as an agent selling life insurance. Has a massive agent audience, massive YouTube channel, kind of pioneered the content game in terms of insurance sales training in many ways. So I'll bring him up to the stage, Mr. Cody Askins, live in person.
There he is.
What's up, gentlemen? Good morning, man. Thanks for the opportunity. I love both of you.
Good morning.
Incredible human beings, and I'm excited to share the stage with you today. Thanks for having me on.
Well, appreciate you being on. As always, we know how busy that you are. And I forgot to say founder of Kaboom Leads, kind of the
Kaboom!
Kind of the latest things the last couple of years that you've been working on.
True.
Yes.
Where do we start, Glenn? Where do we start?
I think Glenn started by showing his age earlier and talking about how his body's falling apart.
I feel like I'm 50. That's what happens. I tell Christian this all the time. You start working with seniors, and then all of a sudden you become one overnight. Marketing to seniors for 10 years, and I become one that fast. Lose my hair, my body's falling apart. So there's a lot to talk about. Cody, so good to have you on. It was great seeing you in Nashville. Seeing you present in Nashville at the 7-Figure Playbook event was awesome. We've been in the industry together for a long time, seeing each other have success, and I love it. One of the first things I wanted to kind of bring up on the podcast today was, what are some productivity hacks that you have? I know you're the type of guy who you're trying to get an extra minute probably here or there, anything you can to try to get more out of the day, right? I'm the same way. Christian's definitely the same way. I think really successful people naturally go this route. They just want to get more out of the day. What are some productivity hacks, things that you do? It could be anything. It could be literally anything, but you feel like it puts you ahead.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite things. Is one of the things you guys were just talking about too, by the way, is how you set up, how you run and structure your morning is going to make a massive difference in how your day goes. I'll give you an example. If I'm getting up, like Brian Tracy always said, that you should wake up 2 hours before any sales related activity, right? So our office starts at 7:30 a.m. Central Time in Spring, Missouri, earlier than a lot of people, but we kind of got used to that. Well, I can tell you this. I can tell when my sales reps are waking up at 6:30 and racing to the office. My team can tell when Cody Askins does not get a run in or play basketball or get a workout in, right? Or do those things. You can tell a lot about someone by how they start their morning. And two, you guys know this about me, and the audience probably does a little bit by now, is my energy means everything to me. There's going to be some people that have never seen me talk today that I get to chance because of your podcast, your platform, your group. I get a chance to do this today. And so, dude, I want to make sure that Tuesday, June 10th, 2025, I'm giving it my best. And Cody doesn't have a great day every day, by the way, right? But I want to make sure that I do. And so here's some of the things that I do to structure my morning. I don't always do the first one, but I've been trying to do better at this. Kicking it off in prayer, in some, because it's so easy to be stressed out and life is happening and you're just super busy and you're super negative and there's complaints and drama and all this stuff that happens in our industry, working with clients, building a business. Second is great. I want to write down what I'm grateful for and what my goals are. That's really important to me. You mentioned some of the stuff we're doing. Dude, I think that I really believe that Kaboom, as an example, will grow to $1 million a week as a company, right? I truly believe that. And I think that I'm just screwing it up. I think the conference, there's a couple things we're gonna do the next few years to really start to scale it, because we do eventually want to get it to 5,000-10,000, right? But also short-term goals and long-term goals are very important. For me, you talk about getting old, I like to stretch in the morning. I think that's very important. Most people don't stretch. I play basketball, so I feel terrible if I don't stretch, right? And I do feel like I'm almost 35 years old in about 29 days. And then I'm trying to do something active. Maybe it's push-ups, maybe it's walking, playing basketball, running. Those are ways that I'm trying to kick off my morning to set myself up for an amazing day.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, I love it. I love it as well. I mean, I was somebody that I kind of was hit or miss with my morning habits and my morning routines for a long time. I had phases where I'd go a couple of months or 3-4 weeks where I'd be really good at a routine, but now I'm really locked in, and I feel like in a way, I mean, it's something that's important, I feel like, at any age, but once you hit 30, man, it's almost like I don't know, something changes. 30 is very different than 20. Right? 30 is very different than 20. I started in the business when I was 21. Cody, you started super young too. Like Glenn started super young. We all started super young in the business. And I don't know, like it's a little tougher to get away with, waking up an hour before you're supposed to be somewhere and you're just,
hungover. You're hungover.
Hungover.
You're drinking last night. You're hungover. You're showing up 30 minutes. And you used to be able to pull that off, right? The reality is I regret not doing these things sooner because I feel like I could have been further ahead earlier on, because again, it does make a huge difference. If you can get this much done, whatever it is your morning looks like, and I think for everyone it's a little different, but 8, 9 a.m., you've already had what some people do in a whole day, right? I mean, that's big. That's big.
That's right.
I love that.
My dad's always said too, like he's always told me, when you lay your head down on your pillow at whatever time it is, you want to feel like, man, I maximized my day today. And if you think I could have done more, you say, dude, we only get so many days. My goal has always been to, and I feel like, by the way, I'm almost 35. I feel like I'm behind. Okay. People in the industry maybe don't see that way, but Cody Askins always feels like he's behind, and he always feels like he's not keeping up with pace. I feel like my business should be farther ahead. I feel like buying a partner out, all the stuff we went through the last couple of years set me back a couple of years, maybe, I don't know. But I am like always trying to shrink time. And so in my business, by the way, here's a few ways that I do start to shrink time and prioritize some things, right? So Cody does not check his social media. Cody does not check his DMs. Cody does not check his email. Cody does not check his schedule. Cody does not schedule anything or manage his calendar. I don't execute my travel plans, right? Booking flights and cars and all that kind of stuff. There's a lot of things that when you talk about 7-figure or bust, right? You're trying to scale your company out. We've fortunately, because of the brand and having an amazing team and realizing that I'm only held back by me. And if I try to do everything and I'm a control freak and have amazing people, then my business is going to go slowly. And so if you're out there and you're making low to mid 6 figures and you feel like you should be way farther ahead and you should be going faster, you're right, you should be, but you're probably at that point because of something related to time, right? And so there's a few things I do every day, and I don't do a lot. Promoting is one of the things that are one of my core 3 things I do every single day. Just like this. This fits perfectly into us promoting what we do.
Yes.
I feel like I try to promote myself harder than anyone else in the industry. I try to. And the number one complaint that we get is, if anybody ever has a complaint about Cody, it's not he's an arrogant asshole. Most of the time, it's not. Right? It's not that his prices are too high, or all the things people can complain about. It's not that, whatever. It's not that he wouldn't give me time, he wouldn't talk to me, right? Because I do too much of that, probably as it is. The number one complaint I get is that Cody promotes too hard. Well, I want to ask the audience, at what point are you going to believe in what you do so much that you finally start to lean in and have belief in promoting what you do, right? And so when I talk about maximizing time, that's one of the things I do, because I'm a promoter for the brand. I'm a natural born promoter. I spend time, as one of the things I do every day, promoting to our industry, as an example.
Go ahead.
I was going to say there's a couple things that jump out at me to what you said there. Like, I've become super big. I used to be really bad at reading emails when I would get up early, and I would kind of mix it into what I was doing, right? Like if I'm on a bike, at the gym or something like that, or I'm on treadmill, I'd be looking at my emails while I was doing it. I heard Dan Martell say, people on your team or people that do business with you typically aren't coming to you unless they have a problem that needs to be solved. And you don't need that in your headspace when you're in the morning and getting ready for the day. You know, you need to keep your mind clear. So I've become a big believer in that. I love that. And then the other thing you said too was it makes me think of something that Grant Cardone said, I want to promote so hard that the people that aren't going to do business with me unfollow me. I want to attract the right people and
that's a big one.
Push everybody else away through my promotion. And I don't think people understand. I want to get into this a little bit too. And, I don't think people understand that, in my opinion, promoting your business and being a promoter is different than marketing your business. They are kind of different things. They're kind of like distant cousins in a sense.
They're related.
Go ahead, Glenn.
Well, the one thing I wanted to mention that you said there, Cody, we talked a lot. We actually did an episode recently. We were reading posts from Reddit, the Reddit machine. Yeah. Agents who
the Reddit machine
posted, agents who had posted, and one of the posts, or a comment rather, on the post was basically someone saying final expense is a ripoff. You're creating poverty if you're trying to sell final expense. So you're talking about belief, like believing in yourself, believing in what you're selling. Right. I mean, is that not such a key aspect of sales, especially life insurance? I feel like life insurance is one of those things, like if you are trying to sell life insurance to someone and you do not hold a strong belief in it, good luck. They're going to see it. They're going to feel it. Right.
Mm-hmm. True. Yeah, you're right, man. But that is a core piece, right? Like you should believe in what you do enough that, because I think a couple things that hold people back in a big way. I think not having enough prospects coming through the door, enough traffic into their ecosystem is one big thing that holds them back. You guys talked about promotion and marketing, which we can get into if you want. The next is a lack of belief in what they do, like a lack of confidence, maybe imposter syndrome, whatever it is, And then a third, it does have to do with a lot of business owners and entrepreneurs or control freaks. We are a certain personality type. We think we are great at everything and we should do everything. And really, in reality, that does hold us back, and we do end up scaling or growing much slower.
For sure.
Yeah. I want to dive into this promotion thing a little bit, right? Like, because I look at you as one of the best promoters in our space.
For sure. Absolutely.
And I know it goes through your mind probably when I say that. It's like, one of the best? Why I'm the best?
Off camera, that's happening.
But no, like, for sure. What if someone asked you, what does it mean to promote your business, right? And how is it different than marketing your business? What would you say?
Yeah, so here's an example. My job, I have when it comes to promotion and marketing, I have a couple jobs in our business. Number one, it's to get more attention from our industry. Okay. And that is that can be a combination of promotion and marketing, right? But to piggyback on that, I believe it's even more of my job to keep our audience's attention as much as I possibly can. Some people are decent at getting attention. Decent. Most people are not great. Decent. Very few people are good at keeping the attention of the people that they want to work with. And so my job, and the reason you see us do so many freaking things, you see us do events every month, you see me travel nonstop, you see me hang out with Glenn and Christian at multiple events, 3 events the last year-ish, right? You see that. If you go to kaboomleads.com or 8% or whatever, you're going to start seeing ads of us all day, right? Because it is our job to keep your attention as well. And so that is the marketing and promotional piece. The promotional piece, both of them are both, but the promotional piece actually does a better job at keeping people's attention along the way, because most people don't know this, the average human sees about 8,000 ads every single day. Radio, billboards, TV, logos, right? 8%, Under Armour, right? Whatever Glenn's shirt says, Avengers in the background, Captain America, whatever, right? Yeah.
Glenn's being good. He's the better promoter of the two of us this morning.
Everything senior insurance.
Let's go. Yeah. That's awesome. See, so you think about that. I'm seeing StreamYard logos right now. You guys are seeing Facebook logos if you're watching in the group. Yep. Like, we see about 8,000 ads a day. Well, what that tells us is, to keep people's attention, you've got to break through the noise. But you also a lot of times when I do stuff, you see a lot of like selfie type stuff from Cody just walking around and stuff. Like I need to not look so rehearsed. I need to look casual. I need to not look like an ad. I need to have some freaking energy and life about me. Like about 2 years ago, we had a family friend that asked my brother-in-law, Ty, they said, something's off about Cody. I can just feel it through his videos. I'm like, dang, right? And guess what? They were right. Now, I'm all for being vulnerable, being transparent, sharing what you're going through, and being real, because social media is mostly fake. Let's be honest, right?
Yes.
However, I also don't want to show that, dude, Cody's in a bad mood. Cody's not feeling well. Like, can I be honest about stuff along the way? Yes. But I'm always thinking about, when I'm putting things out, it's my job to also give, just like today with the first impression, it's my job to give a good impression along the way and put out positive energy, happy, grateful, because that's when I'm going to get it back. And that's the type of people that I'm going to attract. If, like I said this at SWATer, I say this in Facebook groups all the time. If you are negative, you're complaining, you're venting on social, no matter what you believe, right? If you curse every 4 seconds, right? Et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, right? Whatever you talk about, whatever you believe, whatever you listen to, whatever you put in your brain, whatever comes out, that's the type of person you're going to attract. So, like, here's an example. We had someone in our Power Player group, and we were at a private boot camp. Power Players it's a mastermind for agency owners. We were at a private workshop, and she said, she said, I want to attract young male athletes to my life insurance agency. Her agency does probably $10 million a year in premium. She makes about $1.3 million a year. We're helping her scale that faster. But she said, I want to attract young male athletes. I said, okay. Before I spoke, I said, and shared what I thought, I said, let's whiteboard out who are the 10 biggest agents and agencies that make the most amount of money that you work with, that are in your ecosystem. And we whiteboarded out all 10, 90, it was 9 women, 1 man. All of them were, 80% were in their 30s and 40s. Majority, they all had kids. And
moms. Yep,
moms, and almost all of them were married. Why is that the top 10?
The opposite of a young male athlete.
Opposite of what she wants. Why was that the case? That was the case because she's 42-year-old married mom. You are going to attract who you are most of the time. Now, can you attract others? Yes. I want to attract everyone. However, if you go to our events, we all do really attract a little bit younger of an audience at times. Medicare can be kind of older naturally, right? But with our brand, I attract a lot of new agents. I attract a lot of people in their 20s and 30s. I attract a lot of athletes. I attract like all those things. Why? Because I attract a lot of Christians, right? Et cetera, et cetera. Because that's who Cody is. And from a promotional standpoint, the stories that I share, that's the things that people connect with and remember.
Totally makes sense. Totally makes sense. Yeah. I think there's something to be said too, like that idea of a salesperson that's like this young, buff, strong man or woman.
Surfer
I feel like
dude.
Yeah, like there's this like idyllic cartoon style salesperson in everyone's head that like this is the guy, right? And that I've met them, right? Like they're real, they're out there for sure. I know that's not just completely made up. Like there is a little bit of that out there, but it seems like when someone has, mouths to feed, they've got bills to pay, that type of responsibility, I think, can really drive some people, So I love that. I love that story because again, we've talked a lot on the podcast about self-awareness. And I think that's one of those things where that agency owner sounds like just really wasn't self-aware of where their production was coming from. And instead they were just chasing like this idea, So
she had a concept in her mind of what a top producer was going to look like. And then, but wasn't looking in the mirror of what she was. I think that's very interesting. I want to pivot just a second there. I want to talk about agents failing, the topic that Cody has to be asked about on every podcast he ever does for the rest of his life because of 8%. But before we do that, I want to talk about this episode's sponsor. So episode 118, you guys, is brought to you by the 7-Figure Medicare Agent Summit. Tickets might be sold out, but you can still pre-order the recording. If you done messed up, you didn't get a ticket, I understand. You know, you went to other events this year. You went to other Medicare events. You thought they would be better. You missed the one that you should have gone to. Okay, we understand, but you can still pre-order the recording. It's the next best thing. It's $197 up until the event. After the event, it goes up to $297. Pre-order, get it for a lower price while you can. It's the next best thing to being there live in person. And there's always next year. There's always next year for the 7-Figure Medicare Agent Summit. So make sure that you don't miss that opportunity to get in on the recording. All right. Let's talk about failure, right? So I've thought about this a lot in my own life, right? As an agent, I'm in year 11 in the industry. I feel like my answer to this question, if someone was to ask me, has changed a lot over the years. It could be like I've seen somebody fail and there's a specific reason why they failed, and that recency bias is stuck in my mind in a sense. But there's a whole cataclysm of reasons, right, why somebody might fail in the space. I'm sure your answer has probably changed and evolved over time as well. Why do you think 92% fail in our business?
They struggle to consistently get in front of enough people to succeed. You know, that they didn't have lead heroes quick enough, man. You know, they right? It is the answer though, and I will debate anybody on this topic anytime because you know what's funny is it's all the sales trainers in the world, which I've been along the way a little bit, right? Even though I don't think of myself that way. But yeah, I did make $117K at 20 years old, 8 months while I was in college playing basketball. So people say, okay, he's good at sales. I'm okay, right? My team thinks I'm amazing. I'm all right. But it's interesting because you would think sales skill is the number one thing you got to have. Well, sales skill doesn't matter if you don't see anybody, right? So it's interesting. It's product knowledge doesn't matter if you don't see anybody. Carriers don't matter if you don't see anybody. Sales training don't matter if you don't see anybody. Sales process don't matter if you don't see anybody, right? Like your belief and confidence and, you know, walking on fire and jumping in cold plunges and all the crazy stuff doesn't matter unless you see anyone, right? And so at the end of the day, your job is to consistently see people every single week. And if you feel like this business is a roller coaster, it's because you haven't got your marketing and leads figured out and you are not consistently talking to enough people every week. Only reason I made 6 figures at a young age is because I sat down and asked, and I did it cold calling and cold door knocking. Wouldn't recommend that to anyone, right? Let lead heroes do the calling for you, okay? And
that's right.
Now because of what I did then, I cold called and cold door knocked with no leads, and I realized how freaking hard it was. So now we help agents, right, with getting in front of people. But the number one reason they fail is they don't get in front of people. And I was trying to see and ask 10 to 15 people to buy life insurance every single week. And when I sat down and ran 10 full appointments, I made $2,000. When I didn't, I didn't.
I love it. I love the simplicity of that explanation because I think so many people get caught up in this, that, or the other thing. My contract levels weren't high enough, or, you know, the area I was in just wasn't good, or, you know, the carrier I had, the underwriting, you know, for this carrier is trash. I can't get anyone approved. Like, you can hear excuse after excuse after excuse. But when I've seen, and what really opened my eyes up to this whole concept that Cody just went through for you guys, like literally rewind, listen to it again, because it is the truth. When I was seeing inferior salespeople, people who I wouldn't even take advice from on, you know, what screwdriver I should buy from Home Depot, and they're out crushing it, right? They're making 30, 40K a month selling insurance, selling life insurance. That's when I was like, what's going on here? Like, how is this happening? It's volume of people that they're talking to. That was it. That was the whole key to success. even though they're not a great salesperson, they're mediocre, they're inferior even. They're just seeing enough people that they're having massive success in this industry. It's crazy. You'll see it every day. It's happening right now. It's happening right now. Someone's out there running circles around you,
The most clear example that I can think of to this, that's just, I see it constantly, is there have been countless number of agents that leave the call center world and they work in a call center. Like there's one agent in particular, I never will forget this. He did like 800 to 1,000 apps in a year.
Crazy.
In a call center, all inbound traffic. And it was early on when I started working with agents, and I was pretty green in terms of working with agents. I'm like, this guy's gonna crush. I'm like, let's go. I was fired up for him, and I've seen plenty just like him since. But I remember him so distinctly because he comes out, right, and I worked with him heavily, spent a bunch of time training him, everything like that. He couldn't get in front of people. He couldn't prospect. He couldn't set appointments. He couldn't work leads. He was so used to being fed phone calls, inbound calls. And his first year as an independent, I want to say he did like 10 apps or less or something like that. I was shocked and floored. And there's been, and there have been countless examples of that where someone was in a good captive role, a good call center role. They were just slaying it. They're a great salesperson. They're good on the phone. But then being on your own is a totally different game. And it's a getting in front of the people game more than anything else. And that is the thing that people struggle with. I think it's so true. This episode of the 7 Figures or Bust podcast is brought to you by Everything Senior Insurance. Guys, if you're looking for an FMO in 2025 to be a partner with you and really support the overall growth of your business, Everything Senior Insurance is the one-stop shop to allow you to get plugged in with great resources. Whether it's ACA contracts you're looking for, whether it's Medicare contracts you're looking for, whether it's final expense and life contracts that you're looking for, Everything Senior Insurance has got you covered. We provide a free CRM in 7-figure CRM to all of our agents that meet the proper requirements on their contracting and have enough contracts with us. We provide discounted leads with Lead Heroes, discounted virtual assistants with Hire Heroes, and we provide just year-round support to just be there and help you out in your business, as well as fantastic training. Glenn, what do people need to know about Everything Senior Insurance, the FMO?
At Everything Senior Insurance, we've really combined all of our resources to create an FMO that can be a true one-stop shop for a senior insurance agent. Most FMOs have only maybe one resource or even no resources beyond offering that contract. We want to provide value to you as an agent to help you grow your book of business. Or if you want to create an agency, we want to help you grow your agency. And there's so many resources that we have put together to really help you grow your business. So if you are looking for a true partnership, someone that will invest in your business, please reach out to Everything Senior Insurance. We would love to help you grow.
Thanks for listening to this message. And now back to the show.
Yeah, I do too. It's amazing where like this business can take you and how far you can go if you can start to really dial in and learn some of the stuff we're talking about. Like we complicate this thing way too much. Dude, your skill gets better as you see people. Your knowledge gets better as you see people. Your business gets better as you see people. Like at the end of the day, I really feel like there's three T's that I think about when it comes to business that I believe if you can start to solve some of these over time, your business will explode. Okay. And again, this is coming from a dude that thinks he's screwing up a, $50 million revenue company right now. Okay. Number one is traffic, right? Is traffic. Most companies do not have enough traffic coming in their business. We talked about it a little bit. It will crush you. It just will, right? 2 is time. You only have so much time. You need to maximize it, and you need to do things that make you money. Checking your email, checking freaking pending, and talking to carriers.
Yes.
I don't know. Like that Cody ain't spending sales time on that.
I don't know.
Right? Just not. Time. Also, the average human being spends 2 hours and 24 minutes a day doing this. Scrolling social. 2.5 hours a day. Most of you, by the way. Okay. Don't shoot the messenger. I love you. I love that you're in the group. I love that you're watching. But bro, come on.
Don't tell our audience to log out. Stay here, you guys. Stay here.
They're scrolling. They see a Kaboom ad.
Yes. Now you should watch Glenn, Christian, Cody, right? But 2.5 hours a day when you're not making any money.
Yeah.
Come on.
100%.
Right? That's the second one. The second one's time.
Point.
The third one is talent. John Maxwell always said an organization's potential is directly related to its personnel potential. And this is coming from someone that has hired more bozos than just about anybody and had the circus running around my office for a long time. Okay. Right. When I say circus, we actually did have a guy that had one guy that juggled fire. No joke. He would go out in the parking lot and juggle fire. He was on my sales team. I'm dead serious. How did I not get a video of that back in 2018? Right? No joke. So when I share all this stuff, right? Traffic, time, talent, you will only go as far as your team can help you go. And man, I think we've went farther, faster than others in the industry, even though I would feel like we're screwing it up and we're not going fast enough. Okay. So it's not arrogance. I still think we are nowhere near where we can be. And I know that to be true, but it's because our team is really, 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 really good. And when I hire someone, we try to hire the best. Like we just had someone that was a GM of a local company making low 6 figures join our company a couple weeks ago. Like we had a trainer that worked at an insurance office 15 miles away that's jumping into our sales organization. Like we're attracting top tier talent. And I don't want anybody to ever hear, to say there's nobody out there. It's tough to hire people. It's a struggle. Dude, like the more you say it, the more you will believe it. And if I can hire and have the team and the company and the growth that we've had in little Springfield, Missouri with 150,000 people, so can you.
Absolutely.
I want to. Sorry, Glenn. Do you have a question?
No.
I have
you're good.
25 more.
Fire. I don't want to hug Cody. Okay, I'll share with you. I'll share.
You mentioned partnership a little while ago on the podcast. I know you went through a situation with a partner. You've talked about it very openly on stages. We've done solo pods together. We've talked about it. We don't have to rehash any details, but when it comes to partnership, based on what you've learned from situations like that, what advice would you give to somebody who's watching this about what you should know about taking on a partner? What should you look for? What are some things that you've learned that you wish you knew 6 years ago?
Great question.
Yes. Phenomenal question. 3 things come to mind. The first is you should vet every relationship that is extremely important like that more than you currently do. So like as an example, and the gentleman I worked with, I still like him. He's a good dude. There were a couple potential red flags before people coming to me complaining about this individual before we even became partners. That's something I probably should have taken a little more seriously since it was so early. Okay. So vet, and I'm sure that people were complaining about Cody too, by the way. So, but vet is very important. Like, and you should have brutal, hard conversations when you think you should talk about something or ask something. I don't care if it's awkward. I don't care if it's tough. Freaking talk about it, right? Put it all on the table. So vetting people, people do not do very well. They jump into bed with somebody really quick, right? And this is important. This is true for all areas of life, I guess.
For sure.
2 is you should plan every partnership. You should plan for divorce.
Mm-hmm.
You should plan for divorce because,
honey, we did this wrong.
Not that one, right? Not that one. That one should stay with you forever, right? But business-wise, you should plan for divorce. And here's what I mean. You should, because you will do things differently and put the right measures in place, thinking it may fall apart. Because most business partnerships do not last. Most do. I don't have stats on that. We can look it up, right? But most do not make it the distance. Somebody gets bought out, somebody leaves, somebody quits, somebody dies, somebody retires, whatever, right? Like
company sells, something happens.
Company sells, exactly. And that's the piece. That's the thing that you actually want to happen of all the things that happen, right? That's a cool divorce. We made a bunch of money. Hasta la vista. Maybe you start another company together. Who knows, right? And then third is the communication piece. Like I pointed stuff out along the way and had tough conversations, but most people but I could have done better. Most people keep stuff in and it just festers and boils and boils and boils. And then wham, then they just, attack someone, right? Like you need to have, you need to be more willing to have regular communication about if you don't like something, freaking say something. Like there were several things happening in our company that old Secure Agent Marketing company back in the day where the social media manager would pull like half the team into the parking lot for 90 minutes to shoot some dancing video. And I'm like, guys, or the office hours would be till 5 p.m. and people would be getting in their cars in the parking lot at 4:55. Just a lot of that kind of stuff, right? And I'm like, oh yeah, guys, what the freak is going on over there?
90 minutes shooting a video. All right, guys, TikTok, we're taking over. Let's go.
That was the problem. I'm like, there were times where I'm like, who is running this freaking building, man? Who was running this building? Yeah. And so, some people say, well, Cody Askins, he micromanages people, or he inspects what he expects, or he checks in on people, or he is constantly communicating with his team in Slack all day. Like, dude, if anything, I do too much of it, but I like that better than the alternative.
For sure. I gave it a little Goog, and Google says 50 to 70% fail within the first 5 years.
Wow.
Some say that up to 80% fail in the first year. And the failure rate over 2 to 3 years is at least 50%. So,
what was the first
take
year
that
again?
for what it's worth.
What was the number?
It says, while some sources claim up to 80% fail in the first year of business partnerships. That's
we made it. We made it past 80%.
Yes,
we did it.
Yes.
Yeah. No,
send me an anniversary gift. Okay.
I think it's an interesting question for me too, because, obviously, Glenn and I being in the partnership we're in now, I think both of us have learned a lot about working with other people. Like we both came from a world where we ran our own businesses for, like 8-9 years, solo. We're used to being lone wolves. And all of a sudden now we're working together on everything. It was a kind of an adjustment, I think, for both of us. I mean, we're going on like a year and a half of it right now. And, I think truthfully, there's a lot of things we probably could have done better at the beginning in terms of structuring things. I think we just got lucky because I think we like each other. I think that helps a lot. Like, I mean,
we're in love still.
We're still in love. It's still
the honeymoon phase.
But I think I thought about this the other day. I was like, because I communicate with Glenn so often because there's so many things going on. I'll text him and be like, "We're gonna do this. We're gonna fucking do this," or whatever. I'll call him because I'll have something on my mind. I'm like, "Oh, we should be doing this. We should be thinking about this. What do we want to do about this?" Sometimes I'll communicate with him more than my spouse, and I just know, I'm like, there's a lot of people I could have partnered with that I would have drove them insane by now.
I'm slowly
but surely.
the communication, regardless of like how big your company is, though, like you could be it could be you and an assistant, it could be you and 10 agents. The thing that I can tell you with the size of business Christian and I have, we have over 300 employees, and there's a ton of different management. We've had to really evolve our communication with each other, with our management team, with our staff internally. Like there's been so much communication that was missed, or that, maybe we communicated the wrong thing. So I think communication is a important skill to have, regardless of how big your company is, and for a partnership especially, I think too. So I love that. I think that's all just gold nuggets for the audience who's listening right now.
Yeah, because like, if someone's listening to this and you're thinking about a partnership, like ever since Glenn and I partnered, I've had all kinds of people approaching me at events or private messaging me and being like, hey, I'm thinking about a partnership. What should I look at? And I'm like, I wouldn't even say I'm the authority on this, because,
the authority. Because
partnerships, when they go bad, they're very ugly. It's like a divorce in a lot of ways.
For sure.
And, I really think part of it is luck, in a sense. You don't know what's going to happen. Sure. You don't know what it's going to be like to work with somebody on a day-to-day basis. Sure. But yeah, anyway,
I think the reason we worked together without being fully integrated for years. That's why I think it's worked as well as it has. Is like we were already working together for years in different aspects. So I think that was something that gave us a big leg up for sure.
Yeah, it wasn't as much of an unknown going in. I think for sure. Glenn. Question.
Yes.
Question for Cody. We were running out of time. We got about 10 minutes left before final thoughts.
I want to take a minute, and you have your 8% shirt on. You're the 8% man, right? And again, if you're new to this, you're new to Cody and his brand. The reason we talked about failure, we're talking about 92% of agents failing, because that is the stat we're going off of. And that's why 8% is, how do you be the successful agent, right? So let's talk about the 8% event for a minute, because this historically has been going on for one of the oldest events in the industry now.
Yeah.
And a ton of success. I love what you're doing. We've talked a lot about events this year, and there's this huge spectrum of events, and some are, obviously we're biased, we're subjective to our own biases, right? But
yep.
What are some reasons why an agent should come out to 8%? What do you think are some things that an agent could benefit if they do come out to 8%? And what are you looking forward to this year?
Yeah, immediately, if you ask yourself, do I think I can grow faster? Do I believe that someone else or something else could help me see a bigger vision for my life, right? Do I believe in relationships and network? Like if those answers are yes, then this is literally one of the best places in the industry to go. I'm biased as well, right? We'll say the best from me, but from y'all,
one of the best.
Fair. But man, dude, it's like conferences did something special for me. It's the only reason I started them, by the way. I went to one years ago, long time ago, and I made a decision to start doing all the things that I'm doing today because I was in the room. And so if I believe that big decisions happen at big events. And so if you're like, man, I see a bigger vision. I want more out of this life. I would like to scale and grow quicker. And I believe I just don't have the right information or right access, which is normally the case, then you'll love this, right? It's in 27 days. And you can go to appreciation.com to check out we have a crazy, really, really, really good speaker lineup.
Love it.
One of my favorites is Danelle Delgado. She'll be there this year. She's spoken on Cardone stage and some of the biggest stages in the world. She's unbelievable. Sam Taggart. We have an insane lineup this year. And I'm really excited about
Sam's awesome. Door-to-door sales, Sam. Yeah, phenomenal. Sam's awesome. I follow Sam. Yeah, he's great. Yeah,
he's really, really cool. And so our headline speaker lineup is sick. It's always a big giant party. We've got Emerald City Band coming back this year, the number one cover band in the world. They've played for every living president. They played for the Dallas Cowboys. Like, they're insane. And the three things I focus on, by the way, that our company really does. 8% is a core piece. We do a road show once a month. And you can go to 8% to look at all of our roadshow locations as well as our conference, because I believe in the power of events. Events are insane for relationships and access and information. Second is, which just started, I guess, like 14 and a half months ago, is Kaboom. It's growing very, very, very rapidly. We are quickly approaching 1,000 orders a month, and it just keeps growing. Yeah, thank you. And I think we're like freaking fumbling the ball down the field, really. Like, we can do way better. What we do well is we're really good at video ads. We're really good at very long funnels, and we are phenomenal at verifying every phone number to make sure there's no disconnected numbers, no wrong numbers, right? Which is the beauty
that's important.
The beauty of what you do. They've already answered the phone, like
sure.
That kind of stuff is important, right? So they're responding to a text with what we do. And then, so that's Kaboom Leads. And we just rolled out Medicare. We just launched Medicare actually as of yesterday, which is kind of wild. That wasn't even planned for the timing of this, but it is true, which is nice.
There you go.
It should have been, but it wasn't planned for that. But third is our Power Player community, private mastermind. If you would like to get to where you are scaling to 7 figures or multiple 7 figures and beyond much faster, that is a room that will absolutely help you blow up everything that you are doing. And so if you believe, man, dude, I got to keep growing quicker. I don't know everything. I'm a control freak. I need a better team. I need better promotion, better marketing. Yeah. Those are the kind of things that we like helping with.
You mentioned something about 8%. You said big things happen, big decisions happen, big decisions are made at big events. Mm-hmm. And something I don't know if I've ever told you. I'll tell you live in front of the world.
There we go.
I had the initial concept of us doing our event at 8%. 8% was what kind of inspired me to do our event. I think it was 2022, whatever year it was. And that was a great year, great event. You were gracious enough to have me as a speaker last year. Had a great time. I would be there this year if my wife wasn't having a baby like 2 weeks before the event. So that's the only reason I'm missing, and I'm sorry I won't be there, but yeah, it'll be a great event. And if you guys haven't checked it out already, make sure to check out 8%.
Yes.
What year did 8% start? How many years are we going on it?
2018. We've done 7 8% conferences, and this is the 8th 8%.
Yeah, that's wild.
Wow.
And it's actually
your golden birthday. 8%. Yeah. That's amazing.
And it's during my actual birthday too this year.
Whoa. That's crazy.
Kind of a fun combo. Yeah, kind of a fun.
You have to get a tattoo. I think that's the rule. I want an 8% nation tattoo, dude. Let's do it.
Man, let's go. Let's get all 3 get one.
All right.
Commit.
All right.
Commit.
Commit.
Gotta shave
now.
your head too.
Now later. That's right.
I want to shift gears a little. I want to shift gears into final thoughts. I just want to make sure we have enough time to kind of cover it. So, Cody, one thing we do on the show is the end of every episode, they're an hour long. There's a lot of ground that's covered on each episode. We like to kind of finish it out by kind of closing it out with some final thoughts. Glenn, do you want to start with your final thoughts on episode 118?
Yeah, great episode, you guys. Again, Cody's been in the industry for so long. Absolutely recommend checking out his content. If you guys don't know who he is, if you've been living under a rock, or maybe you're new to the industry and this is your first time hearing the name Cody Askins, check him out. Check out his content. Cody, I think you've done a really great job giving away, great content like what you did today. I mean, talking about what's the simplest way for an agent to be successful? It's just having 10 to 15 presentations a week, and again, that's what I essentially got started. I got started doing those same activities. By being consistent with your activity level, your sales will start to get consistent. You'll start to make more and more money, and that's how you can be successful as an agent. So I love that guys, check out 8%. I think it's a fantastic event. Just like Christian mentioned, that was the inspiration for the 7-Figure Summit, and the access to information. I've had relationships at events too, where I didn't realize it at the time, but it ends up being one of the most fruitful business relationships I've ever had. That's come from events. So I can't really speak enough to the power, the access to the people, to networking, to get to a shortcut, learning something that you didn't know before. I love it. So those are my final thoughts on today's episode. Mr. Brindle, final thoughts. We'll let Cody close it out.
Yeah. Guys, great episode. I think when it comes down to it, I think if you're willing to work hard, of course, you're coachable when you come in, all of those different things. The only thing that can cause you to fail is lack of activity and not being willing to consistently get out there and get in front of people. I think Cody hit it right on the head there. I think no matter how good or maybe not so good of a salesperson you might be, if you talk to enough people, you will trip into some sales. You could be terrible. You will find somebody that will take pity on you that needs what you're selling. And the next one will just be that much easier. And then it will just be that much easier. You will get better. Even if you're not good today, if you keep putting yourself out there, you have the activity levels, you prospect properly, you will get better. You will get better as time goes on. You're not stuck in this perpetual place where maybe you're timid, you're shy as a salesperson. One of my favorite sayings, I don't even know who coined it because it's been recycled over and over again, but it's a good saying. That's why: get comfortable being uncomfortable.
Yes.
And put yourself out there, have appointments, run appointments, get in front of people, whatever you have to do. And as long as you do that and you don't quit, you will be successful. I've seen it time and time again. So great advice, great episode overall. Definitely check out 8% Nation. It's kind of crazy. The grandfather, in a way, of a lot of events.
The Godfather.
The Godfather. That's a better
term. The grandfather.
The grandfather.
The grandpa of the industry. Cody, the grandpa.
Oh, and they said, that's not good.
That's good.
I endorse him for president, and then he runs as a Democrat. I said, ooh, that's not good. Close it out with some Trump. But yeah, that's my final thoughts on episode 118. Mr. Cody Askins, final thoughts.
Yeah, I just asked ChatGPT who's the first one to ever say get comfortable being uncomfortable, and it said Christian Brindle. So wow, that's incredible.
Oh! How could I forget?
Oh yeah, get a plaque. Get a plaque.
I feel like here's one thing that has helped me a lot. I am naturally very stubborn, personality wise. I didn't use social media. I didn't use Instagram till like 2018. I didn't use YouTube till the end of 2015. I didn't even start using VAs till about a year to a year and a half ago at all. I said I would never bring leads back as a business. I don't embrace tech, and I'm stubborn towards that. I've been stubborn towards the P&C side of the industry. And what I have learned, by the way, is that I was stubborn towards events and masterminds for a long time, personally. I was stubborn towards a Facebook group. We just rolled out like a little private community. I don't care if anybody joins or not, to be honest. I'm not that's not my thing, but my team's like, we should do it. I'm like, okay, we'll try it, right? The reason I say all that is I have been stubborn towards things that actually ended up helping my business the most. And so if you feel like you're stubborn towards stuff, maybe it is the thing or things that could actually help your business grow faster than anything else. And maybe you being stubborn is keeping you from succeeding and potentially causing failure. And I love you both, and I appreciate the opportunity. You guys are awesome.
Thank you. Appreciate you coming on as always. Great episode. Lots of nuggets. guys, go back and watch this a second, a third, a fourth time, whatever you need to make sure that you're getting the full scope of everything that was shared on today's episode. Check out everything Cody's doing. Kaboom Leads, his YouTube channel, Cody Askins YouTube channel, 8% Nation, their road shows, all the above. And appreciate you guys watching all the way to the end, depending on what platform you might be listening to us on, whether it's live, whether it's on the replay. We go on probably 20 different platforms. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Make sure you give us a 5-star review on the platforms that allow it. And we'll see you guys on the next one. Appreciate you all. Here's to your massive success. We'll see you on the next one.